is Wednesday, November 13th. It is now 5 o'clock in the evening, and this meeting has now been called to order, the Executive Committee meeting of the Nashville Community Review Board. Our secretary is no longer with us. Member Drew Goddard has vacated the board, and so we have a vacant position on our executive committee, and it is secretary, but I do know that we have a quorum. So we have on the agenda rules and bylaws discussion related to committee meetings.
I noticed I did get the bylaws and everything seemed to be in order, and I'm pleased with that. What we can do is submit them at the board meeting and vote on to be approved. Okay. Now, as far as the vacancy of a secretary, if we need to be, we're going to appoint someone, but the election is coming up soon. What we'd like to do is introduce to each member who would like to retain their position. They can let us know at the board meeting next week. If they're interested in changing position, please let us know, and they can send out email to me to let me know that they're interested in running for another position. We're small in numbers, so we must work together to keep this rolling. And so, if you're interested in for another position, please put in writing and email them so we can submit that the 1st of December. So in January we can have the election. Okay. At least we like to have at least 30 days before an election, and hopefully that we won't have any problem with filling these positions. You know, we're small in number but mighty in strength. I'm sure that we would have good cooperation with everyone because most of us have been here for quite a while, a few years and everything like that, and we wanted to better serve the community, you know, to the best of our ability. They deserve every effort that we can to make sure that they are being represented. And they did a lot to get it organized and get it on the ballot, and they voted on it, and it was passed. And so we need to work for the people of Davidson County. Okay. And so that's how I see it today. And if anybody has any change or any suggestion, please let me know.
Okay. So the rules and bylaws are ready to be presented to the full board as they stand?
Yes.
Okay.
I did want to make if I may make one change. It says as of April the 24th at the top, and it would be as of November the 18th. If it's adopted, the date would change. Is that correct, Frank?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I can make that change and circulate it directly.
Okay.
Is that the only change?
The only change.
Okay, that shouldn't be a problem then. The main thing that we had some other areas there that we was looking at that need to be changed, and so far, what I can tell that everything has been changed, and so we can definitely move forward with that one change to move forward, you know, and be prepared to present it to the board and let them vote on it. And so to let the mayor or community know that we do have a bylaw that has been approved by the board.
Okay. And then on the Article 12 rules of procedure, I think there's a spacing issue, Frank, on page 9. So if you could just go through and make sure we don't have any spacing issues or...
See that?
You see it?
12 in the RN rules.
But nothing should change substantive wise, meaning like the, any of the language, just the spacing.
Will do.
Okay. What else do you have, Walter?
That's basically it. And we would definitely introduce it to the new board members if they're to appear at the meeting next week. By chance, if we had a position that is not filled, we have the option of nominating somebody from the floor,
Okay.
and hopefully that somebody will respond.
So meaning we can nominate someone from the floor at our next meeting.
No, the vacancy.
Right.
We have an election.
Oh, the secretary. So we can't fill the secretary position right now.
We can, but it'd be just between two meetings, really,
Right.
So,
But let's ensure. So who's taking the minutes of the meetings? Director Fitchard, who's doing that? Since we have a vacancy with the secretary, do we need to?
We haven't made a decision on who was taking the minutes, but I can take them, and we just use this recording as it helps to assist with that.
Okay. So we'll still have minutes. Okay.
We've never created executive committee meeting minutes.
May I make a suggestion?
No, for the board as well.
Without putting so much load on you, maybe if you have a staff member that.
Oh, the staff member does it. That's what I meant when I said me. It's not me doing it specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, our staff member does the
We
meetings.
don't want to put
And then
everything on you. I know you got a heavy job around here, and we want to help lift the weight off of you.
And then
Yes,
we'll
we
give
do.
them to Frank to review, so that, to make sure the legality of them.
Okay.
Technically, should we appoint a temporary secretary?
What do you think, Frank? Because that was my question. So nominating someone from the floor at our next board meeting, just to make sure that position is filled, or we let someone from the staff do it and then you can review it.
I believe it'd be prudent to go ahead and put someone in place in the interim, just so it's clear that, it's an interim secretary until we can floor appoint or.
Okay.
So, and a staff member makes sense. I mean,
The staff members, that's who does that's the
Anyway.
person
that's
that
who does
creates
it
the
effectively, and that way we.
And they send it to the secretary and they approve
So
them.
you would just be reviewing the minutes that we type up from this from our board meeting, or whoever they appoint, like if
Absolutely.
it's Joe that wants to do them.
So I'll make sure I ask at our meeting on Monday. If anyone's interested in holding this position for the next few meetings until we have elections in January. You okay, Joe?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Okay.
I was just thinking, I don't know whether you can hold two offices at once. I mean, just for formality, I'm willing to act temporarily, but then I don't know whether we do that or, because otherwise we'd have to,
Yes.
we've only got, two people to pick from. or
Right,
three.
which is Sean Witzel,
Yeah.
member Witzel, and then member Wynn.
Yeah, I would think just call it.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just appoint Mr. Agent, Member Witzel, and if he could decline it, let's just appoint him.
Well, I think I want to talk to him first.
Well,
Give him that much respect, and so
Well,
let's see if
say
he's
let's
able to do it
appoint
for
him and then let him- he can
yeah,
decline
2
if he doesn't
meetings.
want it.
And so we'll take this up at the board meeting.
Okay.
And we'll have that discussion.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay, I had one more question, Walter. Member Cersei. Member Holloway. So the January election, so you said if you want to retain a position, let you know. If you don't want to retain a position, let you know.
Yes. Yes, you can send me an email on, and if you want my email, it's WL Holloway, HOLLOWAY, the number 5 at gmail.com.
Okay.
And that way, you do that when we print up a ballot, we will make sure that if names are in the right locations or not, and if we got a blank space, then we'll know we need to appoint someone for the position. And hopefully that with the small number on this board, somebody will pick up the baton and lead the race.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right, so we will have bylaws that we will vote on Monday, the 18th. And then we'll start to ask our members if they are interested in any of the positions on the executive committee. Okay. All right. So what's next? So did we cover rules and bylaws discussion related to committee meetings? Did we cover that? We good on that? Okay. All right. Board chair discussion. All right. So it's board discussion. The new board member announcement. I do have, unless Director Fisher, you have something pertaining to that.
So are we having a board discussion or is this an executive committee discussion? Because the board's not here.
Correct, and that's why it was misprinted on the.
Okay. So.
Because that's what it says. No, it says board chair discussion.
Yeah, so so I do want to say that it seems like these are all the items that we're going to be covering in a meeting on Monday. And since these are items that I believe that the whole board should be weighing in, not just it seems like we're having 2 meetings in one. We're having a full meeting here with every topic here that will also end up being on the agenda for Monday. And so I think that we need to clarify what should be discussed in executive committee meetings and go by what's in these rules starting next time.
Frank?
Because we're having 2 meetings.
You have something you'd like to say?
Are you
Yeah,
finished?
I'm finished.
I absolutely agree that these executive committee meetings, in my opinion, and in accordance with the rules and bylaws, should be for matters that are then taken up for board vote. If we double discussion that the whole board should be a part of, then we're essentially excluding, a large chunk of our board in an executive committee discussion. So I agree with the notion that our executive committees should be used to gather items that are then submitted to the board for approval.
Okay, so give me an example and show me where in the bylaws it says that there's a prescription for what's to be discussed in the executive committee meeting.
Well, the bylaws just contemplate that the executive committee meetings are for board votes. Let me find.
Okay, let's see.
Well, basically, by submitting the board, the board, the bylaw now gives us an indication what we will be looking at. But all we need to do is email and send them to each board member, and they can go over them before the regular meeting. And so they can be aware of not being a surprise. At least they have the idea, this is what the executive board looked at, this is what we need to look at also, and we can make a suggestion that we all agree on moving forward with the board meeting.
Understood.
That sound right?
Yeah. So if you go to page 6, Article 7, Section 3.
Okay. Hold on one second.
And then C also.
Okay. You said Section 7? Okay.
It's Article 7, Section 3.
Oh, Article 7.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Okay, executive committee duties and responsibilities.
That's right. So the executive committee's primary responsibility is to oversee the operation of the board.
That's right.
That includes, but isn't limited to, the following: coordinate the activities of standing committees,
That's right.
interchange of information, direct and oversee goals and policies of the board. And then C is important, address new areas of concern for the board, not specifically delegated to committees or task forces. And then, of course, review budgetary matters, quarterly budget reviews,
Right,
expenditures,
and conduct an evaluation of the executive director. Right.
and submit a report.
Yep.
So if we treat our executive committee meetings as a full and extensive everything that's in front of the board all the time, then there wouldn't really be a point in having our specially delegated committees, task forces, anything else. And
So, I'm sorry, Frank. So let's see, the memorandum of understanding update that we've been having every executive committee meeting, that should be taken off because we would talk about that at the board meeting.
that could be taken off.
Okay.
We would talk about that.
All right, so we take that off. And then the sexual misconduct policy, correct?
Not should, but could.
Okay, we could.
Right, we could.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to figure out where on here are we going wrong. The case update that's related to the MOU, that could be taken off, right? Or should it?
The Community Review Board case update. I think that would be appropriate for discussion in executive committee.
You think so? Okay, what about the 61-page complaint investigation update? That won't be voted on by the board, so what do you think about that?
And something not voted on by the board would, in my opinion, could be discussed. There won't be an update that I'm aware of there, but,
Okay, I have one.
okay.
Okay,
Can I say this about the 611? There was an investigation, a search warrant done pertaining to that. It was on television here
last
within
night.
the last day or two, so maybe not want to comment
Too much.
too much on it right away.
Right,
Okay.
probably not.
All right. Okay, so what about the new board member announcement? What do you think about that? Should that or could that be discussed at the executive committee meeting?
I defer to the chair.
Okay, thank you. And so everything is really a could, right? Or it's not
I
a.
wouldn't say everything.
Okay, tell me what's not.
Well, I'll defer to you.
Thank you. So we're going to go through these board discussion items, these executive committee meeting. And so we had already talked about the misprint on this agenda, which it should not have said board chair discussion. It has never said board chair discussion. It should say discussion items. And so we want to make sure that that doesn't happen again. The new board member announcement for the first point. We have 2 new board members that have been nominated to the Community Review Board. They have not been confirmed, and they won't be confirmed until the 19th, which is next Tuesday. So they will not be at our board meeting on Monday, okay? And the information that we received beforehand, you don't have to laugh that hard. Where it said that they would serve a 1-year term, that was incorrect. They will both serve 3-year terms, okay? So to make that clear, the 2 nominees, Heather Michelle and Walter Searcy, will be confirmed next Tuesday, and they'll have 3-year terms, and their terms will be up in October of 2027, okay? So I know we had questions about that, so I wanted to make sure that you all knew that information that was coming from the mayor's office. I was expecting a phone call from someone so we could discuss the sexual misconduct policy update, unless you have something, Director Fisher.
I don't really have any update. I think I gave the last update is that I reached out to Shannon Hall about this. She responded back and said they're still reviewing it, and that she would get with me as soon as it went to the next step.
Okay. All right, so that is basically the same. What about the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding update?
So today, the only update I have is that today, I sent an email to Cindy Gross prompting her for some kind of asking her if there's anything that she needs from our side still, because
Okay.
last we filled in a gap. Executive Director Fitchard sent me the applicable provision from our SOPs, our standard operating procedures, that MNPD wants reciprocity. You know, we ask them, give us statuses on your pending cases. They say, sure, you do the same for ours. And in fact, while you're at it, tell us how long in general you expect investigations to take. And we gave them the 90 days from our SOPs.
Okay.
And that was what I understood to be the only kind of missing piece substantively to fill in and complete the MOU. Director Dietz called me last week to confirm his understanding as it was relayed to him about where we were, which is that the parties are basically in agreement to everything substantive, other than, and at the time it was still an open question, about the meeting with the chief. I've since learned
Okay.
that he does agree to meet with Director Fitchard.
Oh, really?
Those meetings will take place at MNPD headquarters.
Okay.
And they'll be quarterly. So that's wonderful news.
That is really, really great.
That was the only last piece. So Director Dietz reiterated, and Cindy too, that we anticipate and this was last week, he said over the next 2 weeks having something to sign.
Okay, over the next 2 weeks.
And today I emailed Cindy. I expect she's always quick to get back to me. So
Okay.
I'll hear from her and let you all know. But this is really close.
Okay.
And we've gotten everything done that we've set out to do and get. So it's good news
Are
on
you
that
pleased?
front. I'm very pleased.
Okay. Anybody else?
Question. They said within the next 2 weeks.
Well, I believe the wording was we hope to have that. And this was last week when he said it was either this week or next or over the next 2 weeks, but that was last week. So I think that it should be by our board meeting.
Okay.
Okay. I was just trying to visualize the 2 weeks because from what point to the next point, because you're going to run into Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Now, that's a great thing, but it's an excuse to eliminate something, you know.
That's true.
This is a holiday and people went out on vacation. So, and I just trying to get a clear understanding of it, you know.
Sure.
If I want an excuse, I use that as an excuse. If I'm trying to dodge something, you know. Not saying it could happen, you know, but we play words in politics sometimes, you know, and hopefully that we can get this schedule in a prompt manner, you know.
Absolutely.
It is most important to realize that we plan to be here, and we will look forward to working with them and do the best of our ability to have a good understanding or relationship. You know, that we understand them, they understand us. You know, we ain't here to fight in the battle, but we just want to understand what's going on and what our procedures are. Make sure that we do what we're supposed to do for the public. You know, we are leading the race for them, and hopefully that we can set a good standard for them.
So, Frank, do you think that we'll have it before the holidays? It sounds like we will, but what do you think?
I believe we will, and
Okay.
I wish it was more clear when exactly,
Right.
and that was the purpose of today's email, is just, you know, making sure they have everything they need, and I
Okay.
believe they do.
Okay.
I would not be surprised at all to see a final document delivered to us by the end of this week.
That's what I was going to ask. So if we don't hear anything by Friday, would you please email them and make sure that we have an ETA on when we'll have that MOU signed?
I will. If not received by Friday, I will absolutely
Okay.
prompt everybody for a clear ETA of when we will have a document ready for signature.
Okay, and then you can bring that information to us on Monday at the board meeting.
Sure will.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, do you contemplate that if we have a document available, then the board will vote on it Monday?
We would have to review it.
Right. And I would say that if it could be delivered in the, well, what do you all think? I would think if it could be delivered in the AM Monday, that everyone could make sure there's no glaring deficiency, knowing that it's been poured over quite a few times back
Yeah,
and forth
it
for
has.
months. So if that would work, we could shoot for having it delivered
Friday.
AM Friday would be best.
That would be
but if,
the gold standard.
But if we could AM Monday, would that be time to prepare for a vote?
I think so. Do you think you'd be able to read that, Walter, or do you think we need some additional time?
I don't know why you called my name out.
Because you're a busy man, that's why. But no, I know some of us have, we're not all, retired and have a lot of time. So do you think you'd be able to review that MOU, or would you need some more time? And you as well, Member Brown.
Well, I've reviewed the matter as it's gone through various drafts.
Yes.
So, yeah, if we get it, Friday afternoon would be great.
It would.
Monday morning, I'd be willing to vote on it that night, because except for these two items, we've really gone over.
We really have.
Pretty well, and it sounds like both of these two, we've more or less prevailed, and so I'd like to vote on it and get it done, because then we have a process to start moving our cases forward. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to do it if we get it, at the meeting.
Yes, no.
And frankly, I would consider even calling a special board meeting to approve it, so we get it
If we
done.
don't get it in time, I would
absolutely.
agree to that as well. Well, Member Holloway?
I got a heavy schedule from A to Z through Monday. But as soon as you get it to me, I would make it a high priority
Okay.
and do my best. That's the best I can tell you.
Okay, that's good. So, but we
Well,
know
thank you.
if it's not by, Monday at 10 a.m. or something like that, then
Right.
we probably won't be able to have time to review it. And
Right.
then we would then call a special called meeting before the holidays to approve it. Okay. And really, the next is the case update was related to the MOU, and if we had been receiving case files now, right? Even though the MOU is in transition.
And
Yeah.
I believe we have.
We have.
Okay, so we're good on that. And as soon as the MOU is signed, we should really be good on case files and records.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay. Now, the 61-page complaint, Member Holloway brought it to our attention that it was a news story last night pertaining to some of the information that was within the complaint. But what I wanted to talk about was not so much as the complaint, but the commitment that was made by Mayor O'Connell at a public meeting in early October. And so we don't know, unless, Director Fitchard, have you talked with Butler Snow?
I emailed them for just to request a meeting with them, and I hadn't heard back from them.
Okay, so we don't know when we'll receive this investigative report, okay? And I think at least we can say in this room, we don't know when to expect that. But what the mayor committed to was to hold a public panel and establish a review panel to, review the investigative findings. And so I wanted to make sure that we were aware of that, because he did say in a public forum, in a public setting, in a public meeting, that he would hold a public meeting once these investigative findings are released, and that he would establish a panel to review them. Okay, so Attorney Brazil, however you want to prepare, you can't do much now because we don't have the findings, but just know that once those findings are released, this probably will be coming. And it's nothing that we will vote on, but we were named in this complaint.
Right.
So.
I want to make sure I'm clear on
Okay.
what you're saying. You said however you want to prepare, know that when these findings are released, this will probably be coming. What do you mean?
Meaning, as an attorney, I would think you want to watch all of the business that's going on.
Right.
with
Pay
the city.
attention to.
That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So, because we were named in the complaint,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that top brass worked with the state to write the legislation
Right.
that abolished the Community Oversight Board.
Right.
Now, if a search warrant was done on the residence of the concerning 61 pages, now, if there were documents concerning that shooting, you probably won't get certain documents pertaining to that because information was held back from the courtroom that they didn't want released. So if they didn't want to be brought up in court, they definitely don't want us to know. So that depends on where or how he filed his information on being a good detective, you know. You will have sources of information in different locations in case something happened. If something happened to me, then someone else have access to the information. And I don't know whether he thought about it or not. Maybe so. But like I said, if the documents were at that location where they did the search warrant I saw on TV, you know, they're not going to release that information. They're going to do a fine-tooth comb to see what was documented, what was held. And because definitely the court system did not want it. They didn't have the people. Certain people didn't want it in the court system. They didn't want to come up for a trial, and it's a sensitive matter where it's a. I wish it would all go away now because it's very painful to the family
I
members,
know.
and they want to get on with it and get their life right to move forward. But with this search warrant come on, they just kind of bring things back up again.
I know.
So everybody's being real sensitive and looking to see what's next.
It seems like it's a criminal case that they're building, possibly. And so with that information, we probably won't get anything until that is resolved.
Or do you think we would not get that portion of it, or the whole investigation would be held up of investigative findings?
I would probably err on the side of saying that if it is, in fact, a criminal case being investigated, that,
All of it?
yeah, absolutely all of it would be off limits for quite a while.
Okay. Okay, well, we shall see. The Department of Justice training update. Director Richard, have you talked back to Mr. Atkinson?
I have, let me pull it up. I reached out to Mr. Atkinson, and he gave me some information. Yeah, he gave me a contact that he wanted me to call. He wanted to talk about. Basically, it seemed like he wanted to talk about some grants, some potential grants, and programs that he thought we might be interested in. But he didn't really talk about the training. But I'm going to reach out to that person, and because they actually work in that department,
Okay.
To see if they can.
Get a list?
Yeah, I mean, I thought what he sent me was the E3, you know, the Office of Community Program Prevention and Partnership, CP3. And then he gave me a specific person who is the coordinator for Tennessee. But he then talked about grant programs. So it wasn't the same thing.
Okay, all right.
So I just need to reach out to this person and see if they have that kind of training that Mr. Atkinson had talked about in the meeting that he came.
Right, because I guess I'm really just looking for a list of trainings so we can present to the board. And once we have that, because I know you all can handle the grants and programs, but the list of trainings so we can have them available for our board
Yeah,
members.
he did talk about trainings when he was here, so this was a little, and I asked him about the trainings, and that's the response that I got. So I'll call this Mr., I can't pronounce his last name, but I don't want to mess it up. But I can call him and see what kind of trainings that he might be familiar with that we could possibly share with the board to get something going for that.
Okay. Good. Mr. Holloway?
Speaking of training, you got 2 new board members coming on,
Yeah.
and we may have 1 or 2 members that has not gone through the police academy. So what do we do? Do they have a schedule or a training session already scheduled? Or what? Because this their requirement for us to go through that.
Yeah.
And so since for us to go through it, they need to provide the training, they need to set up the training, And so now we got 2 new board members, and we need to know so they can go through it. And if anybody that's left on the board that have not gone through the process,
Right.
we need to make sure they have the opportunity.
Yeah, they usually offer the training in the spring.
March?
Yeah, I think it might be March, and then either late February, early March, and then they have one in the fall. So they usually reach out sometime in January
Yep.
to get people registered for the spring, and then there's also some trainings that I'm going to send to Frank, like a board orientation, and then an ethics training, and then I want to talk to you guys. I need to follow up with. I was having some trouble getting into my LMS, which is a Metro educational system, to determine whether or not you guys have to go through the sexual harassment training. And I'll make certain I get that out for you all.
Do you think we had the sexual harassment training, or everybody will have to go through the sexual harassment training?
Well, I think if anyone has had it, Walter's been on the longest, and if he did it, it's expired. It's only
Okay.
I think it's 2 years.
Okay.
And so I will get you scheduled. I think what Metro Code every board member
Has to take
has to go through that.
Is it
It's like-
self-paced? Like we don't have to be on there at the same time?
No, you don't.
Okay.
We went through a Zoom training,
That's what it is. It's like a Zoom training.
and I did 35 years of them. You think I need it?
So
Yes.
I think it's called sexual harassment in workplace something. It's like those two. So I will get that information to you all. I need to contact HR and find out about it.
Be glad to do whatever y'all need.
But the
me
new
to
board
do.
members will go. I'm going to give them the information about the Citizens Police Academy. My new employees want to attend as well. And then those other 2, the orientation to the board, as well as the ethics training that we got from Laura Fox. But I want Frank to look at it and make sure it's up to date.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that'll be good. And then the community engagement events. I just want to say publicly on record at the executive committee meeting and Monday at the board meeting, our fall festival was the best fall festival I have ever attended in my life. How about that?
That's wonderful. Thank you.
It was amazing.
Congratulations, Tamika. You did a great job. You and the entire
That's right.
team,
Yes, it was
all
all
of
of
the
us.
Nashville Community Review Board, all the staff, the whole office. Our board members showed up. The community showed up. Our council members showed up. And so it was a beautiful day.
It was.
And I just wanted to commend you on a job well done. And I want to find out if this is an annual event, and can we expect, an annual event like the Fall Festival, or I know you have a calendar of community engagement events. Like, what would be annual? What would be, can you give us that information so we can provide that to the full board members, since we, have new ones coming on, and so we can get more board support, because we really showed up on, yeah.
And I want to say thank you, and I appreciate each of you who came out. Yeah, and Sean Witzel was
That's
the only
right.
person that's not here that came out, so we appreciate that. And the staff, just thank you. The executive and the director, assistant director, both of y'all showed up, so thank you, thank you, thank you. But yes, so we have established committees. So in those committees, we will have 2 annual events. So after talking with Director Fisher, we will have an annual fall festival,
Okay.
and then we'll do something in the spring. Kind of trying to work out those dates. Miss King was on vacation, so I have submitted 2 dates. So the fall festival will be next year. I think is the second on the 2nd or maybe the 1st.
Okay.
Next year, and then
In November?
In November, yes, November 1st or the 2nd of next
Okay.
year, and then the next date I'm still working on, so we'll get back. Yeah, the spring date, I'll get back. Well, Monday we'll have those dates. Miss King is back, so I can talk with her and get that situated. So yes, those will be 2 annual events, and then we'll try to do some other events. There will be a calendar events, hopefully coming up, events that we'll do, and then we're still collaborating with community members. So November the 27th, some of our staff members will be volunteering with an organization called Royal Table. They also have an event in December. I don't know if we'll be able to do that one, but they have a toy drive, coat drive that we. Coat drive, toy drive. That we will also volunteer, and we'll have a table if we get enough people to, do that, because it's vacation and people are taking off and stuff like that. Then we have signed up for January, the MLK walk and the convocation that they have with IMF. We've already have a space for that. We have a table there. And then February, we will be connecting with another organization, Seniors on the Move. They have like a Day of Love and Black History, a thing, and we'll have a table out there, and we'll also be collaborating with them. Executive Director, you have anything to add?
Oh, yeah, I do want to add that the spring fling is going to be, what we're hoping to do is do one event in the spring on the south side of town. So that would be at Coleman. We're thinking Coleman Park, which is right at Nolensville Road and Thompson Lane, and then doing our fall festival annually over in Bordeaux.
That's a good.
And
That's
then
good.
the second thing that I wanted to reiterate that Ms. Cash just talked about was for the IMF walk. I'm sorry, the MLK. For MLK Day, we would like board members to come and walk with us. We have a huge banner, and so we walk from
Jefferson Street Church.
the Jefferson Street Missionary Baptist Church to the Gentry Center. And so we would like for you all to come walk with us if you can. And then I don't know who the guest speaker is and, keynote and all that, but we'll give you the
They
dates.
announced it the other week at IMF, but I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, but we would definitely, it's open for everyone, but we do have a huge banner that we carry. And so we usually try to take pictures and have that, and then set up a table inside the venue.
So for Monday's board meeting, Ms. Cash, can you put something together to remind board members or to make them aware, and then it will be prepared for our new board members that will start in December, because we want to make sure that board members have an opportunity, like the November 27th Royal Table event, have an opportunity to serve in these capacities as well. So the sooner we can get them, the sooner we can get it on their calendars, and then everybody will have this information. Because last year's MLK walk, it was a few board members? It was slim. But what we want to do is be more involved, and we want our board members to show up. So if you can have that information on Monday, then we can't say we didn't know.
I have it on Monday.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I don't know, did everyone, did they get opportunity? We're done with the Angel Tree stuff? We already passed all those out?
I mean, if they want to, I can still reach out to see.
Yeah, if they, I've had 4, so.
You have 4, so you have some to spare.
Yeah, if you want.
Okay, let's talk about that on Monday as well,
okay.
for people to have an opportunity to
If they
serve.
just wanted to, since I got 4, 2 people they can take 2.
Okay,
Yeah, this time it was different though. It had seniors and children,
That's
which
good.
is good. Yeah.
okay. All right, anything else? Want to share anything?
No, just thank you for supporting us, each and every one of you that came out. We really do appreciate that. And thank you to our staff, too. I know they're not here, but if you're watching, thank you. My colleagues.
Yes,
And we're
everybody did a
ordering
great job.
T-shirts. I know that Mr. Brown expressed that, and so
He
we'll make
wanted a-
certain.
and a sweatshirt.
Okay, we're gonna make sure you get whatever you need in sizes, so we'll take that.
Remember?
All board members should have T-shirts and swag material.
I know you gave me a T-shirt, but I couldn't put my hands on it at the time, so I said, what's more important, me or my T-shirt?
You.
So, so-
You was there for a while with us. I appreciate
I know.
Next time y'all can, like, we can put you at a station and you can, the basketball station, or you could host a dance. Who wants to to make the dance,
let's
the judge, the dancing?
let's not forget police department had
Community engagement.
Oh, yes,
From
cannot
North
speak for that.
Precinct.
and
Yeah.
that's one sign of us communicating with each other.
Oh, it was great. Sergeant Freeman.
Yes, I reached out to Commander McLean at the North Precinct, as you suggested, and he sent out Sergeant Freeman. So they were there, they were present. They had a table and they were serving, and it was a pleasant time of collaboration. So we do appreciate that. We don't take away from, their presence. So since we're shouting out organizations, I remember each and every one of them. So we're going to shout out to Royal Table, the Tennessee Human Rights Commissions, Backfill in Motion, Choosing Justice Initiative, the Nashville Defenders, Middle Tennessee Urban League, and the Nashville Community Review Board. Thank you all.
All right. Look at that. You worked hard on that event because you remember everybody. But, Walter, you are absolutely correct. It was a good time to collaborate, not only with the community engagement from MNPD, but with the community, right? And so we were both at this place at the same time for the same reason. So that was good. And I will say that Commander McLean always shows up. He's a man of his word, and he keeps his word, and he always comes through for the community. So I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, just one more thing. I
Go ahead.
apologize.
Go
I
ahead.
did miss two organizations, the YWCA and the North Nashville Arts Coalition.
That's right.
They was out there as well. And then we had, now the vendors I can't remember, but it was Pumps and something. They were the balloon people. Then we had the food truck. It was out there. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. In the Cocoa Royal, I wasn't Royal. It was Rainbow something. So sorry, but
Who were the cotton candy and candy apple people?
Fox Creations was the cotton candy. I mean, not the cotton candy. They were the candy apples.
They were delicious.
Fox
Oh, my
Creations was candy apples, and yes, and then Fox, the
Those were
truck.
volunteers that did the cotton candy.
Yeah.
They were shout out Omega Sci-Fi.
Yes, Omega Sci-Fi. We don't know which location, but here in Nashville, we appreciate them. I think it might have been. Well, I don't know. I ain't gonna
I
say
have
which
no
one.
idea,
So
but they
we
can
can't-
make some good cotton candy and popcorn.
I know.
So
yeah,
we
that
got
was
the machines
the
and,
Omegas.
yeah.
Did the Sigmas do anything?
No,
They
ma'am.
showed up.
Oh,
They were
okay.
there.
Yeah, they showed
That's
up.
half the battle.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they made that. We bought the cotton candy and the popcorn, and they made.
They
we
manned
rigged
the machines. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to shout those two organizations I missed. So thank you.
You're welcome. So I would like for, I'm going to ask that the board send a letter to each of the vendors thanking them for participating in the event. Okay. All right. Public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment? Okay. All right. Well, yes, you sure can.
I don't know if it's approved or not, but I always do stuff on Facebook. And they saw some pictures that was taken at the fest. And some of the retirees was very pleased. And they wanted to get involved.
Okay.
Amen.
So they said, call out the troops. We
All
with you.
right.
All right. Well, we're excited about that. And I think it. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Frank, I just had one question on that 6 months for board members to go through the training. How comfortable are you with that board members that have already been through it don't have to go through it again?
Yeah. I think taken literally, without that being in there, it appears that they would. what do we think?
So I think that for board members who have been on, I personally would ask the chief to exempt them because they've already went and they're going to get the same certificate and the same coursework. So I don't think it's necessary. Like, you know,
think they'd be
everyone
happy
here
to
has
do
been
that
doing
with
that.
the
Yeah.
ask.
Because Mark Wynn, he just went through like maybe
Sure did.
less than a year and a half ago. And Joe and Walter have been here for a long time, but he was also an officer. And then Alicia went through as
I went
well.
through.
So
I went through under
everybody on the board currently
Drake.
went through it. Yeah. And then Mary had just went through it and graduated and then she resigned. So I feel like that I don't think that there's been so much of a change
Right.
to the academy that they would have to do anything different. And remember, the MOU says that if we want to have additional training,
That's
like
right.
for instance on shoot, no shoot,
Yep.
law practices, like those types of things, I think that we can set that up. And, you know, if you guys want some of that, when you
Yep.
talked about training, that might be a way to get some training quickly.
So that's what I was thinking, is not the police, you know, have to repeat the Citizens Police Academy, CPA, but probably a minimum of one, you know, training that we can take at our own discretion.
That's right.
There was a good
I agree with that fully, and I think my concern is that given the wording of the statute, somebody files
Right.
a lawsuit to vacate board members.
Sure, citing
Because
that they're not in
yeah,
compliance.
That's what scares me, that somebody can file a lawsuit and, you know,
Sure,
the statute is unfortunate.
sure. I agree.
But I do think, so where would we put this, so we're already in talks with MMPD and.
Right.
But I also thought, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt, but as I'm thinking of what Joe said, it also said equivalent training.
And that's where I think.
That word. So I think that would give you, you know, like you've already went through that, so we could do that other
And
training.
that's
in
where
a
I
different
think that,
yeah.
I believe that if we requested it for members that have completed it, assuming the curriculum hasn't changed, which it hasn't,
Yeah.
then we could get equivalency granted.
And this is not the,
Update course, you know,
Yes,
This
or
is
a
not
quick
the first
update
time.
to keep the equivalency and the
Correct.
accredited.
I
yeah,
think
this
so
is not
too.
the first time we're bringing this up, and I think we did take this to the Metro Law Department.
Okay.
And this is when Attorney Fox was assisting us, and we had a clear answer of saying that she thinks everything is fine and she believes that we're okay with it. We're the ones that said that we would like some additional to be
Coursework.
Yep, additional coursework made available to us.
Yeah, and that's in the MOU. It's in there. But I wanted to say, because there was a training that I thought was really sensational, and I think you were there, Walter, and that was that, remember we did the traffic stop training that evening over at the police academy? Were you there? You remember that? And it was like they did, like, it was these role playing with traffic stops, and we had on some kind of weapon thing that popped and all this stuff. But I thought it was really good because it was done at night, and we were broken up in teams.
And
I
just
think
for
that
one night.
It was one night. It was one evening, and then.
The academy training.
Yeah, and so then there was some other training over there as well. It was two trainings that night, but one was for the traffic stops, and then one was some kind of, you know, like web-based. I mean, you know, it was
Something we could-
a lecture.
Okay.
So I think that something like that would be great, you know, to talk about.
I've done 2 extra
Ride-alongs, yeah.
I've got 3 of this division, so I'm gonna catch the 4th one before
Yeah.
long.
So yeah,
That would be good.
We had asked the last attorney from the law office for if she could set up some kind of orientation or some training session about the new law, explaining, because the interpretation of it mean one thing to one person, but it can mean a different thing to us. Remember we were talking about that, and she was talking about doing that, and that has not been done. And the reason why I said that, I said we want to make sure that we're all on the same accord.
Right.
You know, we read it as one thing, and they read it as something different. Only thing they was telling us, you can't do this, you can't do that. Nope, don't say this. You know, you can't do this. We got to be at your meeting. Let's have an orientation on that law to make sure that we're on the same page. And I don't think nothing wrong with that.
I think, Walter, you have a good point, because now we have an MOU, and some of those interpretations have been worked out. When you all say that some of them have been worked out since the beginning and when you first saw this?
Absolutely, I
Yeah.
would. And I think the MOU, Chair, you're exactly right, does, it is an agreement by both entities that we are reading this the same way. And then, in fact, we can interpret this to mean specifically, this is how it will work.
Yeah.
And I think we've preserved a lot of the ability to do the work we're doing.
That's great.
And MNPD has gone a long way, I believe, to favorably interpret the act, in a way that we can keep doing the work. At least their council has, so.
Good.
Even though they don't have anybody in person sitting here watching over, but they do directly with the cameras here, being recorded. So it's not like we having any kind of secret meeting. or anything
Right, it's
like
not
that.
a secret society.
We're still being monitored, And so that's the reason why I say, if we would have some kind of little orientation to go over that law
Okay.
to make sure, no guessing at all, that we're on the same accord. Because if some kind of lawsuit come up, well, this is what the law said, well, why didn't y'all enforce it? Or why didn't y'all do this or do that? But if we know together we're going over the same material, this is what it means, we all understand what it means, then there shouldn't be any questions about it.
Okay.
Do we know how many cases we're going to present at the board meeting?
Yeah, we're working on finishing up with 3 is what we have.
All right.
My apologies. Bordeaux Branch Regions Bank. Now that is everybody. Thank
Okay.
you.
You had to get it out. You couldn't keep it in, could you, Ms. Cash? Okay. So we don't have anyone. If there's nothing else, are we good? And we have our marching orders, and we will be ready for our meeting on Monday, our board meeting. Then, Joe? All right. We are adjourned. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.